Welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture, I am going to share some information about OnTouch Listener and OnClickListener. Means the difference between OnTouch Listener and OnClickListener. Now both OnTouch Listener and ClickListener are interface. So I am going to first talk about OnTouch Listener. Now when you implement the OnTouch Listener, then it's mandatory to override the OnTouch method, because the OnTouch Listener is an interface and the property of interface says if you implement the interface, then you need to override all the methods that are present on the interface. So that's why if you implement the OnTouch Listener, then you need to override the OnTouch method. So OnTouch method will be look like this. It expects two parameters. The first parameter is the view and the second parameter is of type motion event. And the listener sets by using the method setOnTouchListener. Now if you want to set this listener to the view like button, text view, image view, or maybe image button, then you need to use setOnTouchListener method. Now it's time to talk about OnClickListener. So when you implement OnClickListener, then it's mandatory to override the OnClick method, because OnClickListener is also an interface and the property of interface says that if you implement the interface, then you need to override all the methods that are present on the interface. And the OnClick method will be look like this. It will expect one argument that is of type view. And to set the listener, you need to use setOnClickListener method to set the listener to the views, and that view can be a button, image view, text view, or maybe a layout file. Now OnTouch event has some properties. It gives a motion event. It has action up, action down, action move. Those are common actions which usually implement to get a desired result. Sometimes it becomes difficult to use OnTouch method. Yes, OnTouch method is little tricky to use because it has different kinds of events that you need to take care. That's why sometimes also in our piano application, I'm not going to use a OnTouch method because it complicates the UI. Also the logic will become more complicated. But in case of OnClick is a complete event which focusing on pressing and releasing of a button. OnClick is very simple to implement and it allows a better control. The OnTouch method works more faster than OnClick method, because there are some developers say that OnTouch method works more faster as compared to OnClick, but the difference is very minor and you can't see it when you are using the application. Now which one to choose? So it depends upon the requirement and the complexity of the application. Now from the user point of view, it is unnoticeable whether you implement the OnTouch method or OnClick method, because user is an end user and the user doesn't know which type of programming is used behind the application, means the behind the scenes what is actually going on. So user just want to use the application and enjoy it, but you need to avoid using both. That's the main point, because there are some developers try to use all the methods, means OnTouch as well as OnClick. If you do so, then it will complicate the process, means your application will become unstable and doesn't give the results that you want. In my piano application, I used a OnClickListener because it is simple to implement and easy to use, and it allows a better control as compared to OnTouch method. Now OnTouch makes the logic more complicated. That's why I avoid using the OnTouch method in my piano application. So that's the reason I choose the OnClickListener for my application. So that's all about this lecture. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next lecture. Thank you.